What's going on, YouTube? It's okmall. In today's video, we're going to be doing a tier list for enchantments. I had a viewer recently ask if I can actually put together a tier list for, some of the better enchantments to have for weapons, armor, and so forth and so on. And since I had a little spare time today, let's go ahead and do just that. So we're currently using the website Tier King, which I can just basically copy everything that you see here and input it on over into the tier list. I want to break this down based on melee weapons, ranged weapons, weapons for mages, armor enchantments, and then rings, necklaces, capes, and belts. I'm going to bundle those ones together since it applies the buffs to every body part. We'll first start off with melee weapons, and as you can see, these are fixed enchantments on weapons. And it goes all the way from block power down to weapon damage. We'll start putting them in the list based on what I would say would be good fit. Now, I don't think I'm going to utilize a D tier. I'll probably just be A, B, and C. Delete tier. All right, oddly enough, it will put everything into the S tier. Oh well, we'll go ahead, we'll move it around as we need. So let's first start off with block power +3. I'm not really too sure if that's gonna be very impactful for any build to increase your block power. Usually you wanna have something on your weapons that's gonna be better for damage. I don't think we want this one. I'm gonna put that down into the C category. Now, caustic, fire, frost, poison, shock. I'm gonna keep those all into the S tier. I think that is amazingly good for any weapon. Accuracy, we can get accuracy in multiple ways. We don't really need that. I'm going to put that in a B category. Armor damage, again, don't really think that's all that great. Put that in the 10% into the C category here. Armor penetration is a very low amount. Probably just put it into the C category. Bleed chance, that's maybe a B. Maybe. Block chance, maybe a B. Body part damage, I would say, I don't know if it's an S tier, but definitely an A tier. Cooldown duration, depends. I don't think you really need it. Probably a B. Counter chance, it's only 3%. It's only 3%. I think it's more of a B category. And let me explain why. If you're building for counter chance in general, you really don't need an enchantment to increase your counter chance. There's plenty of skills out there that will add so much more counter chance. This would be wasted on your weapon. So actually, it's a C category. I guess if it's you're a higher tier, or sorry, a lower tier character, and you got a little bit extra counter chance, and you didn't want to do any save scumming to make this happen, sure, it might be more of a B or an A, but probably a C. Just again, if you're building for counter, you're probably not gonna need it. Crit chance, that's probably an A. Crit's already hard enough to get on all your skills anyway. Crit efficiency, I would say A tier. Chance 5%. What is this? There we go. So daze chance. I think anything that's going to help us to daze an enemy. Energy drain, that's pretty much S tier. For the most part, if your build really is lacking in energy, it's going to be S tier regardless. If it doesn't lack in energy, it's more of an A tier. Fumble chance reduction, again, I would say it's only 2%. It is very little. I'm going to put that down in C category. Knockback chance, we're going to be putting that in A. Life drain, another S tier one. Magical power on a melee weapon, put it way down. Skill energy cost, again, I don't think we're going to need skill energy cost. We have spell energy cost, again, on a melee weapon, not really. Stun chance, an A. And then weapon damage percentage, it's an A. So there we go. I think that's the first tier list finished. You guys might disagree. You might agree. Who knows? We're doing this for fun. I don't know. So I think S tier stuff is going to be anything that's going to increase your damage or sustainability, whether that's energy or life drain sustainability. In the A category, this is also things that are going to increase your damage. If you don't get lucky with like some life drain or anything else that's plus damage, the body part damage is great. Any of the knockbacks, stuns, and dazes, I think, are in the A category. I once had a dagger with stun chance, and I felt like it stunned quite often, even though it was only a 5% stun chance. Weapon damage, if you're stacking weapon damage, having it a little bit extra wouldn't be too bad. I would still probably focus on something else other than this 4%, because there are multiple ways to increase weapon damage through skills. In the B category, we got the accuracy. If you need it, I guess. It might even be more of a C category type of thing. Bleed chance, I was between A and B. It just depends on the build. It may be more of an A category to add additional bleed chance. Block chance, I put it in the B category. I'm torn between B and C category, honestly, because it's really just dependent on your build if you really need to stack a lot of block chance. Cooldown duration, if you need extra, it can be more of an A category type of thing. But again, I think we're talking about weapons here. You're going to be wanting more damage versus more utility-based enchantments. And then we have the blast category with the block power, the armor damage, armor penetration, counter, fumble, magical power, skill energy cost, and spell energy cost. I just don't think we need it, right, on that particular weapon. If you get these enchantments, you don't feel like re-rolling, so be it. But there you have it. That would be the melee category for enchantments. Now, I would love to reset all of this, but I do not want to get them out of the way. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to move everything down to the C category for right now, and we'll reset this. All right, the next one we are going to be doing the tier list on is going to be for ranged weapons. Now, in my opinion, there's very little options for the ranged weapon category, and it's going to be for damage. Energy drain, that's going to be S tier. Shock damage, S tier. Frost damage. Poison damage right there. Life drain, don't need it. Daze chance, not really necessary. Crit efficiency, if you get it, sure, why not? Keep it. Fire damage. Let's see. Body part damage, sure. I wouldn't say S tier, but maybe A tier. Knockback chance, if you can get it, and if you don't need energy drain, probably put that up there. If we can knock an enemy back, it prevents them from getting close to us. Let's see. Block power, no. Weapon damage, it's gonna be A tier. Accuracy could potentially come into play, but more of a B tier kind of thing, because you really don't need accuracy. I put it in B tier just mainly because I had a passive only build recently, and having extra accuracy on that one made kind of sense. Crit chance, that's gonna be A tier. Extra crits always nice. Oh, stun chance, let me put that up in the A category, because again, if we can stun somebody, even better. Actually, maybe even S tier. If we can stun somebody, that allows us to get even more hits off. We have armor penetration, B category maybe. Days, who really cares? Cooldowns, and then B. Fumble chance reduction, block, magical power, skill energy cost. That's not too bad. Reduce our energy cost as a reduction. That's the way I would probably put it, in all honesty. So for S tier, anything that increases damage is a plus. I got energy drain here because I do feel like if you can machine gun, especially if you're a bow user, you can just spam your skills over and over and over again and drain that energy. In the later half of the game, energy drain becomes less useful since you're going to be able to have other skills that help you drain energy, and you're never going to run low, at least in my experience. But if you're still running out of energy and need issues or have issues with energy, energy drain is an S tier enchantment. Otherwise, extra damage is great. I do think that a knockback and a stun chance, while I don't necessarily use it much, in hindsight, it does really help you. If you can get that knockback chance on an enemy and they fall back, they get knocked against a wall, or you have that extra stun chance, especially if you find one that is a blue. We all know that blue enchantments come with 2 instead of just 1. So if you can get like life drain or some sort of caustic poison, shock, whatever, and a stun chance on that, that's a pretty good mix. In the A category, we got the damage, body part damage. A lot of skills in the range category, range skill tree, do apply body part damage. Crit efficiency, we crit a lot. Having more crit efficiency is going to have those crits hit even harder. If you need to and you didn't want to reset anything, extra weapon damage is nice. Crit chance, so we can crit more often. And then in the B category, if you got it, whatever. Accuracy is probably... Again, I think I want to move this down to C. Who knows? Armor penetration, very low at 4%. Cooldown duration. If you're building full perception and going a little bit into willpower and you want to reduce your cooldowns even further so you can kind of machine gun things out with skills, you can probably make that work. Skill energy cost, -4. Again, if you're thinking about it, like if you had a decent amount of energy drained through skills and you want to decrease your energy cost a little bit, because I think it's most ranged weapons have like 30 to 50% energy cost anyway. That might be something, but I think energy drain would still be way more worth it. And then bleed chance, I put it down the B category. This might actually be more of an A if you're doing hunting especially, but I'll move that around. Life drain. Now you might be wondering, why not life drain on a ranged weapon? Well, simple fact of the matter is, if you're doing a full range build, nothing should be getting close to you. If it gets close to you, you're going to switch to your melee weapon, or you're going to use skills to dash away and continue to hit enemies. So you're not usually going to take too much damage, and you won't really need life drain to keep yourself alive. So it's a C category. Hell, I might even put it up to B. We'll move it up. Daze chance, I'm going to put that into a C. If we're shooting enemies, well, you know what? Let's put it up to A category. If you have daze chance and you can daze somebody like a mage, maybe more of an A category, because if you can daze them, yeah, you might not have stunned them, but they can't cast spells at you any longer, so that's not too bad. Block power, block chance, no shot, don't even need it. Armor damage, don't really need it. Magical power, don't need it. Counter chance, don't need it. Fumble chance, don't need it. Spell energy costs, don't need it. So there you have it. That should be everything for the ranged weapons. Again, hate it, love it, who cares? There you go. The last one I want to categorize in terms of weapons will be weapons for a mage. Typically on a mage, you're going to be utilizing a staff. Now you can switch it up to other weapons, but let's just say we're doing a full-blown mage character and we don't really do melee. So let's go ahead and reset this, put it all back down to C. There we go. Now my personal favorites for a full-blown mage character, we got S tier for magical power. I don't think 4% is a ton, so that's what's going to be in the A. Spell energy cost, I liked reducing it, so I'm going to put that into the A category. Block chance, don't need it. Block power, don't need it. Armor damage, counter, fumble, caustic, poison, energy drain. You can't even energy drain unless you hit them. Caustic, poison, skill energy cost, nope. Accuracy, nope. Armor penetration, no. Cooldowns, love it. Let's see. Armor pen, crits, life drain. Again, don't need it. Bleed chance, don't need it. Daze, shock, frost, fire, body part damage, crit efficiency. That's basically it. It's cooldowns, it's magical power, it's spell energy cost. Those are the three. I don't think you need anything else. Unless, of course, your goal is to maybe do a little bit of melee, in which case I would refer you back to the melee weapon tier list that we covered first. So let's go ahead and get this reset again. The next one are we working on? It's going to be fixed enchantments for armor and jewelry. And as I mentioned, I want to break this down into two categories. One will be for your main armor. That'll be your chest, your legs, your head, and your boots. Then we're going to cover jewelry. And I'm going to mix in jewelry, belts, and capes all together, as those enchantments apply to all of your body parts. All right, y'all, we went ahead and reset everything according to what we have in the enchantments for armor and jewelry. Now, keep in mind, there's a few of these that do not exist yet, but they're here in the list. So that'd be the fortitude. Sorry, that'd be the caustic resistance, poison resistances, noise produced. You get it. So I put everything in the C category. So we're going to first start off with regular armor pieces. That's going to be your helm, your boots, your gloves, and your chest. We'll start there. First off, we have block power +3. I would say, depending on your build, that's going to be more of a B tier. Health, probably more. Again, this is where it kind of gets a little difficult, because health restoration, energy restoration are a dime a dozen. These enchants show up more often than everything else. So when it comes to usefulness, it's as useful as you make it be, right? Dodge, if you're stacking a lot of it, I would say it's just dependent. You can probably get a little bit, probably put it in the B tier. Now, move resistance and control resistance, I would say, is always going to be up in the S tier category. Magic would be like A. Nature, A tier. Pain resistance, it's an A tier. Physical would be like S tier. Piercing, slashing, rending, crushing resistance. Then we got health. Let's see, energy, unholy resist. Again, I'll probably put it here. Bleed resistance is going to be like A and S tier, really. It's nice to have those. Fortitude, that's like a B. I don't really stack fortitude much. And then healing efficiency. So here's what we have, and I'll put the HP, the energy and stuff like that in the C category. I would say it's only beneficial when you absolutely need it. If you're running into a situation where you actually have weapons that have life drain and then allowing you to heal yourself, and you need a little bit more healing efficiency or health restoration, then maybe these could be a little bit more worth it to you. Same thing with health. I guess if you're trying to stack health, sure, why not? And if you need a little extra energy, these are going to be optimal for certain particular builds if you really, really need it. Underneath the B category, get that block power. If you're looking to stack block power, then sure, go ahead. It might be more worth it for your particular build. It's just, I think for the average user, block power stacking isn't going to be appropriate. Dodge stance kind of falls in the same category for me. Unless you're looking to stack a lot of it on a lot of different pieces of gear to add just a little bit more dodge, I wouldn't say you absolutely need to get this. Piercing resistance, slashing resistance, rending, and crushing resistance, I put in the B category. Same thing with unholy. They're all in this category here because they fall under the same guise as magic resistance, nature resistance, and physical resistance, right? So unholy is the same thing as magic underneath magic resistance. Nature is the same thing as any of the other resistances that you'll see over here, like the caustic, poison, psionic. They all fall under, I think falls under nature. Fortitude, again, if you need it, if you need to stack a little bit more fortitude, but I feel like the later in the game that we get, the less fortitude we really require, because we're able to get through a lot of these dungeons much quicker without having to worry about reducing the duration of debuffs. Then we get into the A category. We first start off with magic resistance. That's going to be mainly the undead and the proselytes that use that sort of unholy magic. Nature resistance will be more like the regular mages that you'll see inside of human dungeons and the nature-based spells that they cast against us. A mage can definitely destroy you if you're not careful, even though humans are a little bit easier to navigate and have the mages come to you. So I would still say it's not too bad. An A category is pretty decent. Pain resistance. I love having pain resistance. If we can decrease it, then we can take a lot more punishment without having to worry about getting overburdened and having to constantly fight your pain levels. But to that end, there are a lot of items that also help you decrease your pain if it does get up too high. And maybe it's not in the A category. Maybe it's more of a B category item, but whatever. Let's just stick with the A for right now. For S tier, I think some of the best ones to look for is going to be move resistance, control resistance, physical resistance, and bleed resistance as some of the top tier ones. Move resistance is pretty straightforward. If we have a higher move resistance, that's less likely we get knocked back. If we have a high control resistance, that's a higher chance we don't get dazed or stunned. If you get dazed or stunned, a lot of those times you can end up, because dazes and stuns can oftentimes get your build killed. Physical resistance, we take a lot more physical damage typically than we do nature or magic, so having a more physical resistance is always good, keeps you alive longer. Then bleed. Bleed's another one of those things. If you have a high bleed resistance, there are times where I'm sure you guys have been in a situation where you've got like 3 or 4 bleeds on you. Again, if you do not have cauterized, that might be a big issue for you. But at least having a decent level of bleed resistance is always going to be useful for basically every build out there. And now on to the last category, which is going to be jewelry, capes, and belts. So let's go ahead and get this reset again. All right, starting off again, some of the best ones to have on your jewelry, your belt, and your cape slots. No surprise here. Move resistance, control resistance are going to be S category again. Physical resistance as it applies to all your armor slots. Bleed resistance, again, it applies to all your armor slots. And this is where nature and magic kind of come into hand. And I think they're like more S tier. If you have enough move resistance, enough control resistance, but you get like nature or magic resistance on one of these items, then I think it's got more value on these slots than it did on the previous armor category we were covering, because it applies to all of your gear. Now, I could be wrong on this, but nature and magic resistances should only apply to the armor slot that they're provided for. Unless, of course, it's for the ring, the necklace, the belt, or the cape. Pain resistance, again, A category. crushing. Where's piercing resistance, rending resistance, slashing resistance. Dodge chance is, again, it's one of those kind of, I'll put it in the B category. Block power, B category. Unholy, B category. Health, energy. Can keep those in the C category. Fortitude, B category. I think that about does it, honestly. We might want to move dodge. No, I can keep it right there. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Again, you guys might disagree, and that's fine. Well, it's open for discussion. It's open for discussion. So let's look at what we ended with. We have in the S category, move resistance, control res, physical res, bleed res, nature res, and magic res. So I went ahead and make a quick move. I put nature and magic in the A category. I still think that it's going to be move, control, physical resistance, and bleed resistance. Those are going to be the top ones you're going to be looking for these pieces of gear. And then under A category, you get pain, nature, and magic. And then under the B category, it's the crushing, resistance, rending, piercing, slashing, fortitude, dodge, unholy, and block. Then the C category, these are dime a dozen. Energy, health, health resto, energy resto, and healing efficiency. So there you have it. That's basically everything. Now, I might have made some questionable choices here, and you might be wondering to yourself, well, that doesn't make any sense to me. Everybody's tier list, I guarantee you, is going to be different, but this is kind of what I went through without too much thought, slapped it together. But I really hope that y'all find this helpful, and if you do, please comment down below. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family. I'll catch you all next time. Bye.